Blevins here with the first day of the peaking cycle. This is week 13, so I've done 3 4-week blocks, and now we'll do 2 weeks of peaking and a 1-week deload into the meet. Here's one of my last warm-ups. 495 moved pretty well. I've taken kind of the mats that we have. Usually people use them to roll out or do ab work or whatever. The gymnastics team, I think, uses them sometimes. But I've put it up in front of the mirror. I found this was the easiest way to block my vision. And I've noticed a few things. One, I just have much better proprioception, I guess, really. I can feel my hips a lot better. I can sense where my body is. And I feel that I get better depth, actually, when there's something in front of me. You see that rep went a little low, and then I pitched backwards out of the hole, but was able to correct it on the third rep. But feel really good. I think this is why I've always done well in competitions, especially with depth, going from, having a mirror in front of me to not having one. I've never put anything in front of it before like this, and so this was actually something that kind of showed me that that's why I have a little bit better depth in the meets. Good information. In any case, it brings up the point that when you're peaking, you should try to have as close to competition standards as you can. And so that's something to pay attention to. On this rep, or this set, in fact, this is the heaviest I went. I went up to 610, and I decided to leave in my my setup only because I need to see how long it takes me to set up. And I realized, it does take me actually a pretty long time to set up. So that means that, if I'm going to focus or go through any rituals, I need to do that before I get my name called. Maybe when the person before me is about ready to squat, or maybe once they start putting my weight on the bar, I need to start getting my wrist wraps tight so that I can save the time there. That took a little longer because I didn't quite have enough of the thumb loop out to where I could grab it, so I had to take off the whole wrap, which was something to pay attention to. And so usually I'll get my wrap set up, I'll pull my sleeves up a little bit so I can retract my shoulder blades all the way. I'll make sure my belt feels good. It felt good because I had done some sets already. Make sure my hips are set. Make sure they're sliding. The femur is sliding inside of that hip socket properly. Set up with my feet under the bar. Make sure my shoulder blades are fully retracted. Start to get some air into my lower stomach, in the gut section really. One thing I've noticed too is when I get under the bar, when I do that kind of go down then under the bar when I'm tight, I get super lightheaded afterwards, and I usually have to stand under the bar for a little while just to get my head together before I can unrack the bar. So this is a long setup. I also make sure I get tight under the bar and everything feels right. This would have actually been longer than my 1 minute that I would have been allocated in competition. So just something to be aware of, both for myself and for you when you're going to competition. Make sure your setup is fast enough. I've never had a problem with that, but it's just something I noticed on this set, so I decided to leave it in. I get a breath before I descend, and I took these reps down to the hole pretty slow. You'll notice a lot less shaking at the top of the lift with the bar. I mean, it jiggles a little bit, but it stops pretty fast, and that's because this is that Ohio power bar, and it really shakes a lot less. I feel much better squatting with it. So that was a good set overall. I was pretty happy with that. You'll notice also the Addy Powers are making an appearance finally. I will be using them for my benching. It allows me to get into a little bit better position and have a little bit better leg drive. And so I'm starting to incorporate these into my training. Normally I don't bring them just because they're kind of a hassle to bring. I don't like to bring 2 pairs of shoes or change shoes mid-workout. I also left in my bench setup here so you can see about how long it takes me to set up. I'm going to make sure that I have, again, my wrist wraps tight before I sit down on the bench. When I'm sitting up tall, I will retract my shoulder blades, I'll pack my lats, and then I'll slowly lay back. I won't slam into the bench. I noticed that if I just lay back quickly, I lose tightness. So I'll keep those shoulder blades retracted, and then I'll push my body up onto my chest and arch as much as I can, up onto my traps there. And so then I'll unrack the weight. Usually my bench, I get it out pretty quickly from the rack, so I don't have a lot of time there that's really causing problems. These reps today were a little slower than I would have liked, but I was also pausing all of them or most of them, and I believe I do a long pause on the last rep of the third set right here, so we'll see. But overall happy with the numbers. I talked with my coach, and he advised that since my progress has been pretty consistent, that it would be okay if I added about 3% to the percentages I was using on the day, which were, I was using 87.5% for triples. That last one after that long pause was a little grindier than I would have liked, but it was okay. But I did move myself up on squats and bench a little bit more because I think this training cycle has been going well. In any case, that was day one. I'll have some deadlifts and some more squats on day two and a little bit of benching on day three. But really for this peaking program, there's not a whole lot to go off of. It's just some triples, dialing in form, and releasing that fatigue that I've built up so that I can have that slingshot effect and that super compensation. So hopefully things will all come together. In any case, wherever you're at, hope you're doing well. Blessings.